All right, we're gonna get started on this hauler build, and I've got a few changes to announce. Dave Haslam came in this morning and he had a really good idea. The ultimate adventure rig.
Do not drill holes or weld to frame flanders.
But it might change by tomorrow, I don't know. We always just change our minds around here.
We're gonna add a camper to this build, and we're gonna make enough room to put like a side-by-side or a two-door Jeep on the back of it. This is Crane Games with the Titan 38 and the Basin 6x6. There it is, the Basin 6x6. I believe the crane on the 6x6 is an 8,600 pound crane with a 30-foot boom. The Titan 38 has a 7,000 pound crane, and it's got a 30-foot boom. I know I get a lot of crap in the comments that you're just showing off your brand new equipment. Just like, yeah, well, eventually this stuff's gonna be for sale, and we're not trying to actually do work with it. Anytime we get an opportunity to test these cranes out, we're gonna take it. You know, we hope that someday down the road, each of these vehicles will end up in somebody's fleet. The hauler is actually one of the builds that we do use. Built the hauler, it's got a nice dovetail, it's easy to work with, and it's gonna be really easy to mount a camper on that and transform this into the ultimate adventure vehicle. So let's get started, get that bed off of there, and get moving on this. I saw the light, I've been baptized by fire and sun. Sorry, Stephen. Talking during that. My bad. We don't often get to use our cranes, but when we do, we use both of them.
We're still gonna need some blocks.
For this guy?
Yeah. We don't need the big ones. We just need like, they get pretty close. I moved the outriggers down.
Yeah.
So you can see they're all the way down on the last nut there, but it's still a little bit too tall. See where that's at? This one will probably hit it, but that one won't. So probably like, yeah. It's just like playing with cranes. There's 100 different ways we could have done this, so it would have made it easier, but this is the funnest way. And I'm gonna go get the front set up for this one. Watch your head.
What do you think, Dave? If I run the strap between the two rails here to the middle, and then just the single point in the middle, you think that would
that should be good.
Stable?
All right. See what she do. Now, people in the comments can tell me all the things I did wrong. But you know, you gotta put things through its paces. Not everything's gonna be used properly in the field. And that's what we wanted to demonstrate here.
This one keeps on changing on us. First, we were just going to put, you know, some changes to the flatbed and a liquid spring on and a super single conversion. But what has it turned into now, partner?
We have a 9'6" truck bed camper that we're gonna put in the front of the bed. We are going to move the fuel tank back. We are going to add our liquid springs kit on this thing, super single conversion, and then we're gonna rework the back of the bed. Right now it's currently a dovetail. We're gonna get rid of that dovetail, and then we're gonna extend the bed out so we have a deck for a Jeep to go behind the camper. But it might change by tomorrow, I don't know. We always just change our minds around here. We'll start to build a C60, then we're like, we're not gonna build a C60.
Hey. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. We're still planning on doing that.
We're gonna build a C60.
If you know what that is still, it's been more than a year now.
No one's forgotten about the C60. Never forget.
Hashtag.
So basically you should be able to have a camper that you can sleep in, do all your stuff, and then you can put your toys on the back, whether it's a Razor, Can-Am, whatever, Jeep, some smaller, shorter vehicle. Can't put a full-size truck on it. You can haul anything else. So that's what we're doing.
And you could possibly pull a boat behind that.
Yeah, you could, yep. It will have a hitch. This is correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can pull a boat.
or another toy hauler.
Boats and hose. Boats and hose.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat.
That's what we're gonna call this, boats and hose.
Boats
Minus
and
the
hose.
hose. We're just Jeeps and boats. Those are the super singles going on this.
Yeah.
We love these Michelins so far. They're, you know, a little under 42 inches. Really aggressive. I think they're a little bit better than the Continental.
They have a higher speed rating. They last longer. They are a harder compound on the tread, but they ride nice. Yeah. They don't beat the crap out of you. That's one of the things with military tires. They get
Continentals feel like you're riding on SpongeBob SquarePants.
No, they feel like you're riding on the rocks.
The Rock. You know him. People's Elbow.
David today, the people's elbow!
The hell are you doing?
Let's get to work. These are the military super single wheels and tires that we're going to be using on the hauler. This is a Staswork wheel setup, a lot like a military wheel setup. And then we've got the 42-inch Michelin military tires, and that's what's going on the hauler.
The suspension is all taken apart. We removed the leaf springs, the leaf spring mounts. We took off the U-bolt, so the axle is also free because we're going to be moving that and the suspension and the tank, everything back.
So we cut the dovetail off. It used to go down. That's now gone. But I imagine this axle is going to come back 2 feet.
Roughly 2 feet, but we're waiting until we get exact plans on what we're putting on it to determine that for sure.
Yeah, because he's trying to decide on what size camper and stuff. And bed space. They're going to have to make a final decision soon. Well, like real soon, because we're ready.
Yes.
It's going to start happening. We're going to choose one.
Things have happened already.
This is my favorite sticker. So you see the sticker right here?
What sticker?
Do not drill holes or weld to frame flanges.
This is a lot what it looked like before we even started the dovetail, process last year. If you remember this build originally, it was just a straight frame cabin chassis. We put the dovetail on it. Right now, we've chopped the dovetail off and shortened it. We've removed a lot of the cross members, mounting points for the stock suspension. Looking at moving the axle further back, about 2 feet. We're going to need to make some modifications to the liquid spring suspension kit, just because it comes pre-made, like the way you need it as it is. Since we're moving the axle 2 feet back, we're going to have to extend a lot of the hoses and wiring that it comes with, but that's not really a big deal. Waiting on some measurements to decide where we're going to start drilling holes and mounting that liquid spring suspension kit, but we're well on our way. Today is the day that we're going to start piecing this thing back together. The hauler has been completely, suspension's been torn out from underneath it. It's kind of interesting to see. This is where the original leaf spring started. This was where the shackle was mounted. And we had to move everything back about 25 inches. And this is where your 4-link suspension will start for the liquid spring kit. Had to do some, creative thinking on where to land this, because the frame already has holes in it, and we didn't want to land any of these holes like basically half on one of these other holes. So we had to move it back and forth and get it right where we wanted it, so we didn't have any issues with that. But now that we've got the 4-link suspension mounting bracket in place, and then our bump stop mounting bracket in place, extra cross member for support, I think it's time that we start moving the axle and everything and connecting those 4-link suspension brackets. After that, it's going to be a lot of wiring, hydraulic lines, and mounting your canisters for the actual hydraulic fluid. We're going to see this start coming back together, and honestly, it feels good that they're already at this point. The axle's already prepped and it's got your brackets ready for that 4-link suspension. Can't wait to get this thing driving to see how much it changed the actual drivability and ride quality of this 6500. If you guys have ever driven one of these things, it can be a literal pain in your back.
So we're gonna weld on that bracket. It's tacked up right now, but because the axle housing is made out of cast aluminum, it needs to be preheated a lot because it's more prone to cracking. So just switching out tips on the torch, get that heated up, and then hurry and weld it. And then we'll have to like bring the heat down slowly too. So after a couple of long days with a tape measure and a mag drill, we have all of our brackets moved, and we were able today to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. So here we have all of our mounting brackets, we have our 4-link bars put together, we have our bump stops, we actually put the liquid springs in this morning as well. We got our traction bar installed as well as the bracket welded to the axle with a fresh coat of paint over the top of that. So everything's in and ready to go as far as the physical aspects of it. Now we just need to start running all of our wiring and plumbing, which Will is going to be spearheading. So
Getting started on wiring, I just sent the drive shaft off to get extended. Now I'm going through and make sure the wire harness is all tied up and organized and all the grounds are on, and so we could possibly get this thing fired up and actually start seeing how the liquid springs kit is doing. Next up, Taylor's working on the plumbing, so he's actually hooking the bulkheads up on the frame and running the remainder of the hydraulic lines to the shocks.
So these lines need to be cut. So basically I am just taking them off of the reservoir and putting a cap on it so that once I cut them, I lose as little of the fluid out of them as possible. Just trying to not make a huge mess. Looks like that's gonna work. All right guys, so moved on to the wiring. It's actually pretty slick on this model here. It has these nice brackets that come down and allow for your wiring to run super nice right through there. Just because the frame rails get a little crowded up in here, there's a lot of going on. We're able to just tie in all of our wiring and run it right up there. So super easy access for running our wires. Makes it really simple and fast. The next step is going to be rolling the truck out of here, bringing the bed in to start modification.
So Will and Taylor got the liquid spring system installed. They got all the mechanical side done, all the hydraulic plumbing. Everything's just about wrapped up except for the electronics. Will be moving on to getting the electronics all wired in, and then we're off to figuring out the bed. We're gonna reuse our flatbed. We're going to extend it to be basically a 22-foot long bed. So on the next episode, you're gonna see us basically getting into the design side of the longer bed and the frame extensions, and then figuring out what camper we're putting on this. I think we are gonna put a pretty large camper with pop outs on it. So It's going to be quite the spectacle. But yeah, we have to just get all of the pieces put together at this point and kind of figure out where everything's going to lay out. So yeah,